Do you keep making bad decisions with finances? Keep overdrafting your bank account or overspending? Or maybe you keep impulse spending and don't know how to stop? Today I'm sharing my financial journey and why I'm so passionate about helping people transform their finances. I'm Dakota Grady, DG the Money Coach, and I'm all about helping you to master your finances. Let's dive into the conversation. You're here because you're struggling financially and don't know what to do. Drop it in the chat below if you're tired of living paycheck to paycheck. Drop it in the chat below. I once struggled. In fact, my mom and dad had 7 children. That's right, 7 kids. And we grew up on welfare, government assistance, food stamps, WIC, which means women, infant children. And we lived in low income neighborhoods. My parents didn't make a lot of money. My dad worked at manufacturing plants. My mom worked at cleaners and at cleaning people's houses as well. So we didn't have a extravagant lifestyle. My mom and dad, they got us what we needed and what we wanted. That's right, all 7 of us. And we had a great life based on those standards. But I wanted so much more. When I got to high school, I didn't know how to write a check because I didn't learn how to handle finances from my parents or from school. And what happened? How did I transform my finances? Well, my parents used to take us to a finance company with them because they used to borrow money from finance companies. And we would sit in line and wait for the next person, financial consultant, to help us with our loan. And they would do that over time, like for years. And when I got older, I didn't want the same lifestyle. So I started working when I was like 13, 14 years old, learning to how to work, make money. And when I got to high school, I saved money to get my first car, paid for it with cash, of course. And I just wanted to learn more about finances. But I learned from experience. I learned from what I saw my parents do. I didn't want to do that. I didn't want to go to a finance company. I didn't want to keep borrowing money. Although I did get a credit card when I was in high school, actually when I was in college, and I had it for a long time. But I would use it and pay it off because I didn't like borrowing money. I didn't like owe people money. But when I learned about how to manage your finances God's ways, my life changed. It transformed. I went to a seminar years ago, and the guy talked about handling money God's ways and talked about using cash. I'm like, cash? I was already doing that, but I also had a credit card. So I had a challenge. Well, do I keep using the credit card or use cash? I did something different, y'all. I stopped using that credit card in like 2008-ish, and it's been a long time since I have had a credit card. Now I use cash for purchases, and I only use debt for buying a home. And my life has been changed because of the choices I made. You can make the same choices. You can decide to handle money differently. And my passion is for helping people around the world with money, but my deep, deep desire is to see African Americans, black folks, really prosper with money. Because stats have shown me that we struggle financially. Now, this is why I'm so passionate about personal finances, because I believe that you can change your financial future by changing the way you handle your money. If you don't want to change financially, you may as well stay broke. This life takes money. You need to manage your finances better. Otherwise, you're going to be left behind because it's all about making more money, paying off your debt, saving, investing, giving, and creating a life that you really want. If you want this life, you can do it. So here are 3 reasons how you can transform your finances today. The first one is TIA Institute said that 34% of blacks correctly answered their personal finance index questions in 2023. All right, so that tells me that most people who took this test, they failed it. They couldn't answer personal finance questions. And I understand that. I've been there, done that. Again, when I went to school, I didn't learn about how to handle finances. I took accounting classes in like high school. I think I took 2 classes in high school, but that was on the business side. They didn't teach me how to do a budget, how to pay off debt, and how to save, how to invest, none of that stuff. When I got out of high school, I could not write a check. That's right, I can't write a check, y'all. And that was pathetic in my opinion, because if I go to school for that many years, 18 years of school, and I get out and I can't manage the finances, that's terrible. So people are going to school for all these years, get out of school and can't manage the finances. You go to school to learn how to work, to make money, to earn money, but you can't handle money. That's not good, y'all, for our society because we have all these people, all these adults coming into the workforce and they're financial illiterate. That's going to hurt our economy because people are going to be drowning in debt, struggling, broke, busted, and disgusted, and wondering why they can't move ahead financially. One reason is because they don't understand how to handle their finances. So I encourage you today to want to learn how to make better decisions with your finances. And that's simply all personal finances is, making good decisions with your money. That's simple, y'all. You can do it. If I can do it, you can too. But you have to have the deep down desire to make better choices with your money. The second thing I saw, my research shows that 45.3% of blacks households owned homes in 2022 compared to 74% of white households. So why is ownership important? It's important for stability reasons, right? You want to have a stable lifestyle, not bounce from house to house, apartment to apartment, all your life. You want to be able to settle into something you can call your own, quote unquote. I say your own because you will own it if you pay off the mortgage. Imagine owning a home and someone wants to come in and kick you out of your house. They can't, especially if you've paid your mortgage or the house is paid for. Why to be able to take something that's not theirs? They can't because it's yours, per se, right? And imagine if you're renting an apartment and the person goes up on the rent every single year and you either pay the rent or move somewhere else. You don't have this ability like you have if you own a home, right? That's the difference between renting and owning. Ownership gives you control, it gives you stability, and gives you peace of mind, opposed to renting and having instability, should say, not being able to control things, and not really being able to relax in your own home. So that's why it's important for us to get our finances together so we can be able to own things, not only own homes, but own businesses, so we can create jobs for other people in the community and increase our income as well through ownership of a business. And I'm going to throw this one in here real quick. According to CNBC, black wealth declined by 14% compared to whites, right? $28,000 to $24,000 was the decline, and whites have $178,000, an increase to $189,000, which is a huge difference, right? And I believe it's because the third reason, because people, African Americans, make low wages. In fact, according to the McKinsey Institute, 43% of black workers are in jobs that pay less than $30,000 annually. If you are making low wages, you won't be able to own a home, and more likely you won't know how to handle your finances because you don't know how to really increase your income through earning more. You'll struggle. You'll be broke, busted, and disgusted, living check to check, and wondering why you can't move ahead financially. That's right. And that's what I see a lot of African Americans, us as a collective, that's what we do. And overall, most people are struggling. 78% of Americans are struggling. But if you look at our culture, black folks really own things. Like I said, according to my research, we don't own homes. If you were to drive down any area, say any metropolitan area, you probably won't see a lot of black-owned businesses. If it is, it's like a salon or a barbershop or a restaurant. Not saying something wrong with those things, but I mean, that's what you see. You don't see a lot of accountants, doctors, lawyers, or African Americans, or maybe someone in the tech space who may be doing something. You see a handful of us, but not a lot of us doing some big things on a big scale to make an impact in our community. Again, there are people doing things, but overall, we aren't. We are like below other cultures. And I'm like, why? We're smart. We make money too, but are we managing the finances? Well, we aren't. According to the stats, we are not. We don't own stuff. We don't know how to manage our finances. So I want to challenge you today, if you're African American, to learn how to manage your finances. For one, get enough income so you can own a home, right? And I want you to also learn a skill to increase your income, whether you have a job or a business, increase your income. If you have a job, become a supervisor, a manager, or even the CEO if you can. But make more income so you can make more impact. All right? It's all up to you. You can do this. We can do this collectively. And one thing that I really applauded Martin Luther King Jr. on was pushing economic power, because he knew that economic power was the way for change. It's 2025, y'all, and we still are struggling as a collective, as a people, when it comes to finances. Let's start with ourselves. Look at ourselves in the mirror. Make a decision to change our financial future. I hope this episode was impactful for you, gave some encouragement, gave you some inspiration to make a change when it comes to your finances. So please like, share, comment, and subscribe on this channel. Thank y'all for joining us.